Part 18. I have the option of love in the starry sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 171. Fu Xian didn't say anything. Bo Chang tried to change the subject. Sanyu, weren't you playing mahjong with Bailu and the others just now? Why did you come here suddenly? Is there something wrong? King K said that the Grand Master wanted to see you, so we thought of coming to see you, so that you wouldn't do anything out of line and offend the Grand Master. Sanyuki crossed his arms. Also, don't try to change the subject, I'm not that easy to fool. Bo Chang does plan to give me a teleportation ring. Fu Xian gently pinched his chin. When the petite Grand Master made a thoughtful expression. I can only say, very cute. But, Fu Xian's behavior of selling Bo Chang out was not cute at all. He was even a little worried that the other party would tell others about what he had just raised. We knew it. Sanyuki showed a look of as expected. If you want to leave a coordinate on the ferry boat, Bailu is enough, why send the teleportation ring away? Wouldn't it be safer if you keep an extra teleportation ring on you? Sanyuki shook his head gently. What the pink-haired girl said does make sense. If Bo Chang had 3 teleportation rings before, if he flashed more than 50 meters quickly, he would have a chance to avoid Huanlong's punch. After all, he ran so far. He could definitely get to Xing and Danhan. As long as they help block it. When Bo Chang takes a breath and recovers, he will be a brave man again. It's a pity. The teleportation ring on Bo Chang has always been a hot seller. Every time he gets it, he has to give it away before it's even warm in his hands. It can't be kept at all. Fu Xian thought for a while and said, I didn't ask for his teleportation ring, he insisted on giving it to me. Huh? There is such a thing. King K felt a little incredible. About the effect of the teleportation ring. The mahjong girl knew that the power of flashing could be called powerful. Even the space confinement of Tabu Si could be easily overcome. If King K had such a teleportation ring. In the future, slacking off could be more comfortable. We know this, Ba Kane just likes to do such strange things, Lord Tabu, don't worry. March 7 replied. Chapter 208 Attack in Gundam Form. Fu Xian had no intention of staying here any longer. She picked up the banana peel and prepared to leave. Then you guys chat first, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Fu Xian left. But the mahjong girl still stayed in Ba Kane's room. March 7 turned and asked, Kinke, don't you want to go with Lord Tabu? I want to go too, but when I came here before, she asked me to continue to be a guide for everyone, so, I can only stay. Kinke showed a bitter smile. What to say now? Kinke just hopes that everyone in the train group can play honestly in the ferry boat. Don't do anything weird. But think about it, now that even the Lord of Extinction has been driven away, there shouldn't be anything to worry about. Kinke felt much better after thinking about it. March 7 nodded. So that's the case, then you can replace me to play mahjong with Bailu and the others. I have something else to do and will come right away. Kinke said tactfully, okay, it's just playing cards, leave it to me, I guarantee to complete the task. Mahjong girl likes playing cards the most, even if she has just learned mahjong, she still likes it. Watch Kinke leave and close the door. March 7 reached out and grabbed Bo Chang's collar, saying, you guy, why do you always try to please women secretly? To be honest, are you and Huanlong also having an affair? Otherwise, why did she say that kind of words during the day? What kind of words? Bo Chang was a little confused. March 7, who has an excellent memory, helped the other party to recall. Huanlong said. The pink-haired girl coughed lightly, her tone became a little gentler, and she began to repeat what the fake Tingyun had said, my benefactor, you didn't say that last night. As expected, this man's mouth is a lie. I have a good memory. March 7 grabbed Bo Chang's collar and pulled it down. The two faces quickly approached each other. Bo Chang could clearly see the delicate features of the pink-haired girl and the barely detectable short white hair on her face. The romance option is enabled. Option 1, try to defend yourself, saying, Huan Long is slandering me. March, you have to believe me. Completion reward, get a nickname, a man who has an affair with Huan Long. This nickname will cause the lawful side characters to have a lower evaluation of you. Option 2, push down March 7, saying, don't think about those things, March, while there is no one around, let's have some fun. Completion reward, March 7's big pussy. Option 3, take him by surprise, attack him when he is unprepared, kiss March 7th on the forehead, and say, March, do you believe in illusion or me? Completion reward, get random props, ranging from matches to star destroyers. Note, this type of prop will. Option 4, hold the ancient coin and use steel on March 7th, threatening, March, if you dare to go out and talk nonsense, I will steal your thongs and glue every day. Completion reward, get the skill, glue county, you can ignore the eyes of others, glue anytime and anywhere, and increase the attack range to the entire universe, and can automatically search for enemies. Seeing option 4, Bo Chang simply didn't know how to describe his feelings. This skill is getting more and more abstract. I don't want to attack in the form of Gundam. And what the hell is this increasing the attack range to the entire universe and automatically searching for enemies? A strange picture emerged in Bo Chang's mind. A man attacked in the form of Gundam and shouted, children, charge. Shaking his head, Bo Chang quickly cleared the strange picture. To be honest, for Bo Chang, who has obtained the skill of force that glue county, it seems to have some effect. Enemies thousands of miles away, or even light years away, could be forced to do something by Bo Chang. For example, Huan Long, who escaped. But the behavior required was too perverted, and Bo Chang really couldn't do such a thing. Option 4 was ruled out. The big cunt of option 2 and the negative reward of option 1 were all ruled out. The only option that could be chosen was the third one, and the content of the option was kissing. It seems Bo Chang's relationship with the pink-haired girl now allows him to go further without being beaten. Fortunately, the relationship between the two has become closer. Otherwise, Bo Chang could only choose the fourth one. He would be forced to fight. Option 3. Bo Chang looked at March 7, who was close at hand, and leaned forward. He kissed the pink-haired girl's forehead. The subtle touch spread across the tip of his lips. Compared with the urgency of seeing artificial respiration before, now Bo Chang kissed more calmly, and was in the mood to experience that touch of beauty. The tip of his nose smelled the fragrance in the hair. It is also irresistible. The next moment, Bo Chang raised his head and said seriously, March, do you believe in Huan Long or me? Rewards are being distributed. Congratulations on getting the item, Pantao, which is a very ordinary peach. When he first saw the word Pantao, Bo Chang was indeed excited. However, after seeing the introduction later, Bo Chang's excited heart slowly calmed down. March 7 was a little sluggish, like a frightened little animal, motionless. About Bo Chang suddenly kissing her. The pink-haired girl didn't expect it at all. She was shocked by this sudden attack and didn't know what to do. Her brain was in a mess. She could only stare at the other person motionlessly, and she didn't know what to do with her hands and feet. How about another kiss? Bo Chang blinked his eyes and looked at March 7's tempting red lips. He was a little eager. Unfortunately, March 7 turned around and ran away the next second, whispering in her mouth, you pervert. I will ignore you. Bo Chang subconsciously reached out and pressed the pink-haired girl's shoulder. Unexpectedly, March 7's shoulder slipped slightly. She escaped from Bo Chang's palm like a loach. After a closer look, Bo Chang realized that she had covered her shoulders with a thin layer of ice, so he couldn't hold on. While running, March 7 turned back and made a face. It looked like a game. The action that March 7 made when she escaped from Brnya, Para, and others. Loliolo. The pink-haired girl stuck out her tongue. Then she left the room and disappeared from Bo Chang's field of vision. Now everyone is gone. I have the option of love in the starry sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 172. Bo Chang's room suddenly became quiet, and he sighed in his heart, it's great to have a system. If there is no love option. When Bo Chang faced the situation just now, he didn't know what to do at all. After having the system, the difficulty is greatly reduced. Walking to the window, Bo Chang opened it and stared at the night scene outside in a daze. Being tossed around like this by Fu Xian and March Chi, Bo Chang was completely sleepless in a short period of time. Dan Hong below is still exercising and doesn't know when it will end. Time passes slowly. The Star Corps hunters are heading towards the center of Xingsha. The train crew knew nothing about it. Chapter 209, just wait for the cards to come. I stood by the window and blew in the cold wind for a while. Ba Kame thought about conquering Jiao County. I have to say, this skill is actually quite powerful. It's just that the options are too indescribable. Even if he talks abnormally, it is very likely that Bo Chang will need to steal March 7's thing every day and glue it in order to gain skills. In addition, what Jean Ba Kame didn't expect was that the pink-haired girl was actually wearing a thong. This can be seen through the option descriptions. Bo Chang had never stolen March 7's panties. I didn't expect that the pink-haired girl would be so bold. Heimko, Silua, and even Zhenmu all wear regular briefs. Thongs like. It's so fun. Bo Chang thought about it again, and his thoughts flew to Fu Xian again. Through the information accidentally revealed by the other party, he knew that the other party had already learned about his information from Qingke. Even the matter of stealing briefs with stealing skills. I don't know if Qingke has told anyone about my glorious story about wearing lace on my head. Well, I guess Fu Xian knows, otherwise she wouldn't say I'm a pervert. Regarding the matter of Tabu-sama being idle, Bo Chang guessed it. He even thought about taking a peek when he raised it high. But, for the sake of his remaining reputation, Bo Chang still did not engage in such voyeuristic behavior. What on earth did Tabu think? So he decided to meet my request just because of the hexagram. Turned around in circles a few times. Bo Chang, who couldn't figure it out, left his room and walked towards the guest room next to him. If I remember correctly, that guest room should be a star, and now several girls are playing mahjong. Before entering the room, Bo Chang heard the sound of playing mahjong outside the door. Push the door open and enter. March 7th, Zilua, Qingke and Xing, 4 girls are playing mahjong together. As for Bailu, the little Lolita of the dragon tribe was resting on the bed. Bo Chang came in but didn't respond. He must have fallen asleep. I worked so hard during the day. It must be quite hard for the little Lolita of the dragon clan, so Bo Chang had no intention of disturbing her. The unexpected visitor brought all the action in the room to a halt. A strange look flashed in Zilua's eyes, and she said, Bo Chang? Why are you here? Do you also want to play mahjong? That's just right, you can take over from me. I just came over to take a look, but, don't you want to fight? Bo Chang felt a little strange. Zilua shook his head and said, no more fighting, I want to go down and perform on the street. Everyone knows that the blonde royal sister loves rock music. Xing Leng spoke in a lonely voice. Would it disturb the public if we go out to perform at night? Yes, but as long as you don't perform near residential areas, you won't disturb the people. For example, go to some squares and the like, and you can't make the sound too loud, otherwise it will attract the Yunkai army. As a local, Kincaid is very familiar with the rules of the Luofu Immortal Boat. Zillowa nodded and said, I will pay attention, so don't worry. The nearest square is some distance away from the Chen Chen Inn. Zillowa, I'm not worried about you alone. Don't forget the Luofu Immortal Boat and the Star Core Hunter, otherwise you should wait until tomorrow for your street performance. We can accompany you. Bo Chang put forward his own ideas. Zillowa thought for a while, shook his head and said, it's okay, I've observed it, there are still a lot of Yunkai troops nearby, and last time Seeing went out alone, nothing happened, right? Bo Chang and Seeing, who knew the inside story, remained silent. What happened that night was a secret. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. Silva stretched a lot. The plump chest was like a little white rabbit, and it jumped violently, which was really thrilling. Bo Chang didn't squint his eyes and was unmoved. Joke. Seeing and March 7th are all staring at him. If Bo Chang's eyes fell on Zillowa's chest, God knows what would happen. You have obviously done such an outrageous thing just now, and now you still dare to see me, Bo Chang, bah, how shameless. March 7th whispered in his heart. Although the pink-haired girl thought so, she found it quite exciting. After all, the two of them had just done something unspeakable. March Chi's face turned red inexplicably. That intoxicating blush is dazzling. Shilawa stood up and left, giving her seat to Ba Kang. She had already made up her mind, so no one tried to persuade her. Anyway, she had a teleportation ring on her hand, so if she really encountered a Star Core Hunter, she should be able to escape. The two passed by each other, and the blonde sister left only a scent and disappeared into Seeing's room. Ba Kang had just sat down. Kincaid asked in confusion, March, what's wrong? The pink-haired girl with an inexplicably rosy face attracted the attention of others. A trace of panic flashed across March 7's face. But March 7 quickly stabilized his emotions. Oh, I suddenly feel a little hot, why don't we open the window to ventilate? Faced with such an explanation, Kincaid's doubts did not decrease, but increased. Xingcha Sea Central is like spring all year round, how could it be hot? It's really strange. Seeing said, Ba Kang, the task of opening the window is left to you. Okay. Ba Kang agreed, and then used the invisible hand to push the window open directly. Next, Bo Chang used Zillowa's cards. He played with Sanyuki, Kincaid, and Seeing. During the period, the pink-haired girl and Bo Chang occasionally made eye contact, but it was fleeting. He was kissed on the forehead. Sanyuki didn't dare to look Bo Chang in the eye. Time passed quickly in the process of playing mahjong. After playing 1 or 2 rounds, Sanyuki, Bo Chang, and Seeing teamed up to deal with Kincaid alone. Even so, he was still severely suppressed by him. Seeing couldn't help but say, Kincaid is really good at playing cards, not like a novice at all. He. Although mahjong is slightly different from Daiyuan and Qianjiao cards, it is generally not much different. I call it one method, all methods, let me see, isn't this, the mahjong girl showed the payment code, pay money. Sanyuki. Bo Chang. Seeing. Playing cards with Kincaid is a bit of a test of psychological endurance. Sometimes Bo Chang even suspected that the other party was cheating. Although the mahjong girl also loses sometimes. But Kincaid wins more. While scanning the code to pay, Seeing asked, Kincaid, can you teach me the secret of playing mahjong? Oh, this is very simple, just count the cards, but for me, it's useless to count, the cards will come later, everything depends on luck. Kincaid answered casually. Listening to the conversation between the two, Bo Chang also paid. As for where the credit points come from, this needs to be asked by Bai Lu. The mobile phone of the little dragon Loli is placed next to Bo Chang. If there is no credit point, transfer 1000, anyway, Shen-Ce Mansion will help reimburse. As long as it does not exceed the limit, it's fine. It is worth mentioning that Bailu's mobile phone is very small, it is simply a mini version. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I have the option of Love in the Starry Sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 173. Chapter 210, Bird Saint. Access denied. Access denied. S3/17175457111.299887/SYPK. Node use -2. Chapter 211 Silver Wolf's Sap, more updates. Then let's do this for now. Bo Chang looked at the balance on his account. I have been playing Mahjong for so long. Ba Kane has more than 3,000 credits left on his phone, which he earned basically after getting the Bird Saint skill just now. The gambling limit at Bailu's place is still 2,000. On March 7, the quota was reduced to 0, and Xing's quota was still 1,000. Dan Hung, Walter Yang, Zillowa, and others, because they played less cards, still had a lot of quota left. Certainly. In the whole game, Kinke was the one who made the most money. She was like a siphon, sucking away everyone's credit points. After playing cards for 2 days, I earned more than 10,000 credit points. It's not a wasted trip. Bo Chang, why did your card playing skills suddenly become so good? You can actually play back and forth with me. Kinke was very surprised. In the game just now, the Mahjong girl didn't let herself go. If our guess is correct, Bo Chang may have suddenly awakened some skills, right? March 7 crossed her arms and looked at him with a scrutinizing gaze. This isn't the first time this has happened. The members of the train crew were not surprised at all. Bo Chang did not deny it. I see, if you have a chance next time, let's play cards together again. I'm looking forward to playing against you. Kinke felt inexplicably sympathetic to each other. The Mahjong girl in a blue dress stood up and stretched out her hand. This surprised Bo Chang. Then, Bo Chang stood up and shook hands with Kinke. Her little hands were soft and felt very comfortable when held. The two were instantly separated. The polite handshake didn't last long. After saying goodbye, Kinke, Bo Chang, and March Chi left Xing's room. Bailu must have slept with Xing tonight. Seeing the little loli from the dragon tribe sleeping so soundly, no one planned to disturb her. When March 7 left, she didn't even look at Bo Chang. She walked out of the door and ran back to her room, as if she was afraid of being pinned in the corner by someone. Kinke looked confused, not knowing why the other party was running so fast. Bo Chang looked at the back of March 7. The pink-haired girl running is equally beautiful. Under the aqua blue skirt that hugs her buttocks, her slender white legs are eye-catching. The one-sided leg ring on her right leg that slightly tightens her flesh adds to her charm. Thinking that March 7 was still wearing a thong underneath, Bo Chang felt a surge of blood in his heart. She looked like she was in a hurry. Kinke said casually. Bo Chang's face didn't turn red, his heart didn't beat, and he said, "Indeed. Then I'm leaving. See you tomorrow morning." Kinke and Bo Chang's rooms are not in the same direction. After saying hello, the two parted ways. Back in his room, Bo Chang, who was slightly tired, had no idea of playing with the storage bag anymore and fell down to sleep. Suddenly I remembered something. Bo Chang picked up his phone and confirmed Zillowa's safety before continuing to sleep. Time passes slowly, on the other side. 3 Star Core hunters gathered together. Kafka said, "It's almost time, Silver Wolf, are you ready?" "Don't worry, the beacon has been modified, and now I can teleport there at any time to perform tasks." Silver Wolf replied casually while blowing bubbles. The blade not far away just snorted. "Then prepare for action." Elio said that this is our last chance. If we fail again, we can only temporarily evacuate the ferry boat and wait and see what happens. Kafka's eyes were very gentle, and those burgundy pupils with invisible pupils were mellow and intoxicating. I don't know how much time has passed. Bo Chang suddenly woke up from his sleep. The romance option is turned on. Option 1, the sky is big and the earth is big, sleeping is the best, please continue to sleep, completion reward, Silver Wolf's sap. Option 2, pretend to sleep first, but actually prepare for battle, completion reward, get random props, ranging from matches to Star Destroyers. Note, such props will. Option 3, get up and run away, looking for Walter Yang or Bai Lu, completion reward, endless pursuit by the Star Core hunters. The option that suddenly popped up left Bo Chang stunned. What do you mean? The Star Core hunter is here again? Well, it's an expected situation. Option 2. Options this time. There isn't much to choose from. Bo Chang was ready for battle. The clock next to me is ticking, almost 10 minutes have passed. When Bo Chang was a little impatient, the space suddenly distorted, and a group of densely packed colorful squares appeared. A metal baseball bat protruded from it, and behind it was a white forearm like a lotus root. The spider sense triggered an early warning, and Bo Chang, who had been prepared for it, jumped up and stood up immediately. The metal baseball bat came crashing down and hit the pillow. Who? Bo Chang looked at the familiar black fingerless gloves and immediately had a guess in his mind, Silver Wolf. Wait, you teleported here directly. That's a bit exaggerated. It seemed that he noticed that his attack did not work. The colored squares spread out further, and a fresh Silver Wolf walked out of it. Who are you? Bo Chang pretended not to know the other party. He waved his hand and grasped the flying oath gun. Silver Wolf said, "Ah, it's really troublesome. Isn't it better to be knocked out by me? Why do you have to wake up and add more work to me for no reason?" The other party had no intention of having a good conversation at all. The next second after he finished speaking, he rushed up suddenly. Bo Chang saw a big sword connected to the wrist suddenly appear in the right hand of the Silver Wolf. It looked similar to the hidden blade. Bo Chang took a fighting stance, facing the oncoming blue big sword. Bo Chang directly used the oath gun and used the 100 birds to respond to the phoenix. The two weapons briefly clashed in the air. Dazzling sparks burst out. Seeing that he could not break through Bo Chang's defense, Silver Wolf retreated several meters and said, "Interesting, how about trying this trick?" Aiming at Bo Chang with the hidden blade in his hand. A colorful laser shot out from it. Bo Chang subconsciously jumped off the bed and dodged. The laser seemed to have no attack ability. It shot at the wall and there was no reaction at all. It was just a beam of light. The next moment, Bo Chang found that the space around him began to collapse, and he seemed to have entered a cyber-style alien space. There were countless colorful blocks in all directions. Although it seemed to be in his room. But Bo Chang knew that this was no longer the same place as before. Upside down and left and right. The whole space had a sense of unreality. Rewards are being distributed. Congratulations on getting the prop, the crystal cup, which is a very ordinary cup. The love option is enabled. Option 1, teleport and escape. Completion reward, the endless pursuit of the Star Core hunter. Option 2, teach Silver Wolf a lesson, completion reward, get a random skill. Option 3, be taught a lesson by Silver Wolf, completion reward, get a random item, ranging from a matchstick to a Star Destroyer. Note, this item will. Chapter 212, A World Away. Silver Wolf, who was born in Punklod, has a very unique method. He easily changed the surrounding environment. Bo Chang, who was originally standing on the ground, was surprised to find that he was standing on the ceiling, and the place where the door was originally turned into a window. He seemed to have entered an upside-down world. What's more surprising is, Silver Wolf was not affected at all. She was still standing on the floor. She looked at Bo Chang from a distance, and the two looked at each other, forming a frozen picture. The colored ray didn't seem to have much attack power, but the effect was amazing. While looking at the three options in front of him, Bo Chang looked at Silver Wolf, who was standing in a completely opposite position to him. When using the colored ray, I have the option of love in the starry sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 174. The big sword similar to the hidden sword in the opponent's hand changed. The sword in the middle disappears completely and becomes a laser transmitter. Due to changes around, Bo Chang did not rush to make a choice, but took advantage of the time to observe the environment more. There are a lot of strange colored squares next to it. Intuition told Bo Chang that it was best not to touch these things. Wait until the system starts counting down. Bo Chang concentrated slightly. Regarding the option of endless pursuit by Star-Core hunters, Bo Chang's eyes stayed above him many times. Apparently, once you choose this thing. Next, the Star-Core hunter confronted him. Bo Chang thought for a moment and finally rejected it, even if it was the fastest way to solve the crisis. Between educating Silver Wolf hard and being educated hard by Silver Wolf, Bo Chang naturally chose to be S instead of M. Now the enemy is Silver Wolf. Ba Kang's Imperial Sister Killer is probably going to be ineffective, and the only one who can have an effect is the Messenger of Justice. After all, as a Star-Core hunter, the opponent should be counted as being in the evil camp, which means the damage is x2 times. In addition, relying on the system options, Bo Chang could guess that the hacker girl was not his opponent. Time resumes its flow. Silver Wolf didn't give Bo Chang much chance to think. After pulling it into a different space, the second round of attacks came quickly. According to Bo Chang's observation of the moment of the fight just now, this hacker girl with a single spiral ponytail is physically much weaker than the original blade. Silver Wolf's strength should not lie in close combat, but in some kind of long-range attack. It's like a fake cloud. Silver Wolf also knew that there was no need to fight in close combat. Her initial close combat was just to locate Bo Chang. Then take a big step back. Pulling away again, Silver Wolf's slender catkin tapped on a floating screen. There are countless colorful squares colliding randomly in different spaces. Bo Chang jumped up. Observe while dodging. It was found that everything the colored blocks came into contact with was consumed. The beds, tables, and chairs, even the floor, and even the cyber flying sword were not spared. Certainly, the cyber flying sword here is fake. Bo Chang could guess it. If it is genuine, the automatic defense system should be activated at this time to avoid attacks. But the cyber flying sword remained motionless. After all, this is a different space. Except for Bo Chang and Yin Lang, the other items should be replicas of fakes. Even the Star-Core hunter in front of him might be fake. The attack of the colored blocks did not make any loud noise, but instead made a sound similar to that of a game. It's like eliminating joy. The erased ground did not show the room on the next floor, but was completely dark. This was no longer a room in the Yuchin Inn. It's a dark world that makes people despair. Although these colorful blocks look awesome, they have a fatal flaw. That is, you can only run in a straight line. It was easy for Bo Chang to avoid it. In this room of about 20 square meters, the surrounding scenery slowly dissipated. Finally, he took advantage of Bo Chang's presence. It's a dark prison. Taking advantage of the tendency of the surrounding colored squares to slow down, Bo Chang immediately ejected and started to kill towards the Silver Wolf. The tip of the spear was burning with a cold glow. Silver Wolf's fingers continued to tap on the floating translucent screen. This extremely short distance became extremely long and became an insurmountable chasm. Bo Chang could feel that he was moving forward, but in fact, the distance between him and Silver Wolf did not shrink at all. The whole figure seemed to be suspended in the air. Seeing that he was about to fall back again, Bo Chang could only rely on his invisible hand to provide the ability to fly. At this time, countless colored squares appeared again. He quickly hit Bo Chang. Seeing this, Bo Chang didn't care how powerful these colored cubes were. The gun of oath was directly danced airtight, and the flames on the gun body formed a fireball. Any colored blocks that dared to get close were easily torn apart without causing the slightest impact. A flash of surprise flashed in Yinlang's eyes. This guy's strength is much stronger than expected. It's really unbelievable. In less than 10 days, an ordinary person can grow to this point. After one round of defense, Bo Chang raised his hand and fired a dragon blast. After a brief stagnation, the flame beam finally passed through the confinement and headed straight for the Silver Wolf. Because this place is not the Chen Chen Inn. Moreover, Silver Wolf is not weak, so Bo Chang doesn't need to worry about anything. One shot fell. Silver Wolf, who was strolling leisurely, finally retreated sharply. This strange space with strange light in the darkness expanded rapidly. Up, down, left, and right are all happening simultaneously. Bang! The flames of dragon blast spread. The shock wave generated at close range blew Bo Chang away in mid-air, and he half crouched on the space barrier. I couldn't help but reach out and touch it. The texture is very hard and cool, no different from iron sheets. Just when Bo Chang thought so, the space here is still expanding rapidly. Because of the dragon explosion, the speed of expansion seems to have become faster again. To be honest, it's been so long since I traveled through time and came to this world. This was the first time Bo Chang encountered such a battle situation. Silver Wolf's ability to manipulate space feels akin to an invisible hand. Only, this power is much stronger than the invisible hand. For a while, Bo Chang couldn't find a way to get close to Silver Wolf. The distance between the two sides seemed very close, but in reality they were far away. There is a sense of beauty that is so far away. If the cyber flying sword is there, I can try to fly over quickly. Bo Chang narrowed his eyes slightly. Unfortunately, Silver Wolf moved too quickly. Before he could summon the cyber flying sword, Bo Chang was pulled into a different space. What's more, he didn't expect the opponent to have such a weird method, so he certainly wouldn't be prepared. Maybe I can try using the teleportation ring to flash, but I have to first determine how far the unbridgeable distance is. After all, my teleportation ring only has one energy bar left, and I only have one chance. Even Bo Changdu didn't want to use the teleportation ring, because this is the last resort to leave. What's more, the Star Core hunters also know this and may have already made preparations. It doesn't matter whether it is used or not. Chapter 213, Siege of Star Core Hunters. What a troublesome guy. Silver Wolf was forced back dozens of meters by the dragon blast. If she hadn't reacted quickly, the whole place would have been blown up by one shot. Bo Chang didn't think of how to break through the shackles of space for the time being. If not solved, Bo Chang couldn't get close to Yinlang at all, let alone educate her. One more thing worth noting. Bo Chang felt that Silver Wolf would not come alone. There should be reinforcements Kafka and Blade behind him, but he didn't know when they would come out. The presence of these two people is like a light on the back. No matter what Kafka and Blade are doing, my first priority should be to defeat the Silver Wolf as soon as possible. I thought about it for a while. Bo Chang tried to forcefully break through the shackles of space. Try using Fire Lotus. I have the option of love in the starry sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 175. Take a deep breath. Bo Chang immediately used the second-rated power of the dragon spell, and the enchanting red lotus rushed out and gathered into a tongue of fire. In the space less than 100 meters above and below, Bo Chang raised his head and launched an attack. When the surging fire lotus reached a certain critical point, they all stopped, and finally squeezed together and broke into pieces. Countless flames emerged and spread in all directions. Even the space was burned with black cracks. The next moment, a crisp sound of breaking came. The world that was originally so close and far away was split like glass. Bo Chang realized that the space shackles above had been broken by himself, and he launched again. After passing through a certain node in the middle, the gravity on both sides changed. Bo Chang immediately used the invisible hand to flip his body, and came to the same plane as Yin Lang, landing gracefully, and said, "I admit that your little trick is indeed powerful, but it is useless in the face of powerful force." "Really? You are too confident." Tens of meters away, Yin Lang put one hand on his waist. "Is it possible, I let you down on purpose?" As soon as the voice fell, Bo Chang sensed hostility from behind. Spider sense is issuing a strong warning. Turning the spear in his hand, Bo Chang immediately turned around and attacked behind him. An ancient longsword appeared in front of him. Seeing the familiar red pupils and the man with many white bandages wrapped around his body, Bo Chang said in his heart, "Blade, Yin Lang is not alone. If I am not mistaken, Kafka is also behind." The spear of oath and the ancient longsword collided with each other. A huge air wave swept, blowing the hems of the two people's clothes. Yin Lang simply put on blue goggles to watch the battle. Bo Chang exerted a little force. The spear of oath swept across the border. The huge force from the hilt forced Blade to retreat several meters. If Silver Wolf could be counted as an evil camp, then Blade was 100% counted as an evil camp, and the damage would definitely be x2 times. In addition, Bo Chang's physical fitness was much stronger than yesterday, so it was normal to force the opponent back with one blow. Huh. Beneath his arms were numb, and he made a puzzled sound. As the opponent retreated, Bo Chang also saw Kafka not far away. She appeared at some point, holding a black umbrella, with a gentle smile on her face. Wearing a black coat and black round-frame sunglasses on her head. Kafka's voluptuous body was charming and attractive. Whether it was the perfect slender legs, the waist that could be held in one hand, or the heavy love on her chest, they were all very eye-catching. Especially the deep eyes, which seemed to suck people in. Reminiscent of Kafka's weird words. Or the ability to control the mind. Bo Chang quickly looked away. Avoid eye contact with him. Noticing this, Kafka's smile widened. Her eyes were filled with the care of a child. Let's be honest. Bo Chang didn't want to fight with Blade now. He also wanted to teach Silver Wolf and gain random skills. After defeating the enemy, Bo Chang fled far away and headed straight for Silver Wolf. The first rated power of the Dragon Talisman was activated. Destruction of Fate was fully fired. The invisible hand was like an octopus's tentacles, waving casually in the air. Silver Wolf, who was wearing goggles, didn't expect Bo Chang to kill him directly. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Silver Wolf said, "Ignore the enemy in front of you, but come towards me. Do you think I'm a bigger threat than Blade and Kafka? It's a bit interesting. But, it's not that easy to get close to me. If you have the ability, come after me." Silver Wolf's tone was abrupt and a little naughty. Bo Chang didn't rush far before he was trapped in an insurmountable space again. A colorful block fell from the sky. It fell as Silver Wolf flipped his thumb. "Let's do something exciting." Bo Chang did not ignore the attack. He tried to intercept it with his invisible hand, but found that the thing disappeared when it touched the black and purple hand. At this moment, Blade glanced back and said, "It's time, Kafka, this kid has become stronger again." "Well, Aren, I heard that I untied the restraints." Kafka's voice suddenly echoed. Blade laughed in a low voice. Hee, ha ha ha, then, let's start. Strange feeling, the body seems to be a little heavier than before. Silver Wolf, what did she do just now? Bo Chang frowned slightly. Silver Wolf snorted. I've lowered all your attributes, and added a wind attribute weakness. The next blade attack will hurt you even more. The hacker girl said these things in a boastful tone. There's no need for Bo Chang to ask. Silver Wolf is such a top hacker who treats the universe as a game. It doesn't seem surprising that he can do such a thing. Okay, let's play it this way, right? Bo Chang took a deep breath, then take my Dragon Blast. Another flame beam shot out. Silver Wolf didn't dodge this time. Instead, a colored barrier unfolded directly in front of him. All the flame beams were sucked in. Then, the colorful barrier appeared above Bo Chang's head, while the flame beam fell from above. Blade also came to kill. The corners of Bo Chang's eyes raised slightly. Two Star Core hunters launched an attack on themselves. The blade rushed towards him like a madman, dragging his simple longsword on the dark ground, carving out a blood-red passage in which countless bright red higanbana flowers grew. From nothing to something. A skill similar to the tongue-blooming lotus. Bo Chang ignored the blade and looked above his head. The portal, this kind of portal should have an upper limit on the power it can absorb, otherwise Silver Wolf wouldn't have dodged the first shot. In order to test the space control ability that is so far away. Bo Chang's first Dragon Blast was quite powerful. The shot just now was much weaker. Not necessarily, maybe Silver Wolf is tempting me to use the more powerful Dragon Explosion. If I dare to use it, she dares to return it to me. The first time I fought against a hacker girl. Bo Chang didn't know Yinlang's ability, but the other party knew his power. There is no fairness in this fight. Chapter 214, Capturing the Silver Wolf Alive. Moreover, Bo Chang was still on the besieged side. This is even more unfair. Before the blade and the flame beam come, Bo Chang was still thinking about how to break through the shackles of space. Absolute speed is certainly possible. Pity. Bo Chang's speed couldn't be that fast. The fire lotus flowers are piled together and burned, which is also effective, but a bit slow. And the silver wolves don't seem worried about this kind of breakthrough. Since the system options mentioned the option of educating Silver Wolf. That means with my current ability, there must be something I can do. After being punched out by Huanlong last time with a famous sword, Bo Chang knew that it was good to use his brain before taking action. It's a waste if not used anyway. Thoughts abound. Bo Chang had an idea. Yes, I can use the reaction force of the Dragon Blast, so I can easily cross this distance. I would call it the third power rating of the Dragon spell. It's just that this method is a huge burden on myself. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I have the option of Love in the Starry Sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 176. If there is no horse spell, Bo Chang would definitely not dare to play like this. He happened to have the magic of the horse spell, so of course he could try it. It can be said that, after having the horse spell, Bo Chang is extremely difficult to kill. As long as he is not killed instantly, no matter how serious the injury is, it is a small problem. This is also why. One of the reasons why Bo Chang was besieged by the Star Core hunters but was not panicked at all. Make a decision. Bo Chang, who was originally burning with flames, squatted slightly, and then suddenly charged towards the silver wolf. The magic of the dragon spell sprayed out from the solace of his feet. It gave him powerful kinetic energy. Bo Chang was like a jet rocket, quickly crashing into the silver wolf. In high-speed flight, Bo Chang, who was still wearing a bathrobe, had ugly cracks on his bare feet. You can directly see the hideous flesh under the skin. The blood wanted to overflow, but it was directly evaporated by the high temperature. The piercing pain instantly invaded Bo Chang's brain. Fortunately, he used the magic of the horse spell to restore his body in time. This prevented him from fainting from the pain. This pain was far more intense than Bo Chang had imagined. Just like that, his eyes turned red, and an unknown anger surged in his heart. The eyes of the hacker girl under the goggles widened slightly. She watched Bo Chang pause for a moment and then directly cross the space that she had folded many times. Blade wanted to chase, but was hit by the dragon blast that Silver Wolf had just projected. This guy had no intention of dodging at all. There was a loud bang. Blade was burned all over. Kafka just felt a little bit unbearable to watch. Although Blade's IQ would decrease after releasing the demon yin body, but he would not avoid the attack. Blade did not dodge just now. It was completely because he was in the folded space and could not dodge even if he wanted to, so he just resisted it. Anyway, he would not die. The immortal body is so arrogant. The space shackles that Silver Wolf used to trap Bo Chang. Now it makes the blade unable to move forward. And the hacker girl can't cancel it. She has to fight Bo Chang, who is close at hand. Dodge? No. I can't dodge this shot. The adrenaline in Silver Wolf soared. Bo Chang's speed was too fast. Silver Wolf didn't have the confidence to dodge. Facing the stabbing blue spear, she gritted her teeth slightly and used the same trick to open the portal. However, the portal of this colorful barrier was not opened in front of her. It was opened behind Silver Wolf. This genius hacker girl wanted to escape. Bo Chang hadn't arrived yet. The invisible hand took the lead in attacking, just as imagined before. Silver Wolf was ready. Before the invisible hand approached, it was blocked by several flying colored blocks. Waiting to defend until the attack is close to her is different from the wind wall defense that the blade has been opening. Could it be that she can see the invisible hand? Although the third-rated power of the dragon spell hurt her a lot, but Bo Chang still kept his sanity. The blue spear thrust out. Silver Wolf blocked with the hidden blade-style greatsword in her hand. She wanted to use the reaction force of this attack to escape into the portal behind. Unfortunately, Bo Chang did not do as the other party wished. A spear pierced through the sword, and then a light pick pulled out Silver Wolf, who had half of his body hidden in the colorful barrier. The hacker girl's heart tightened. While adjusting her body balance in the air, preparing to release the blade, Bo Chang did not give Silver Wolf a chance, jumped up and punched her directly in the lower abdomen, knocking her flying. Severe pain swept through the hacker girl's body. Silver Wolf in the air bent his body, like a red shrimp. Debut for so long. It was the first time that Silver Wolf encountered someone who could cross the defense line that he was proud of with his legs. The hacker girl, who was somewhat paralyzed all over, had an empty mind. She felt that she was not facing a Fate Walker, but a melee type of commander. I got you. Bo Chang used the invisible hand to fix Silver Wolf's limbs, and quickly straightened them into a big character. Turning around, Bo Chang, who was suspended in the air, looked down at Kafka and Blade. Starcore Hunter, you can't beat me. Kafka, Blade, and Silver Wolf joined forces, and they might be able to fight Bo Chang. Unfortunately, when Bo Chang captured Silver Wolf alive first, the battle was declared over. The sound of burning that kept exploding in his ears did not affect Bo Chang's hearing. Well, indeed, as long as Silver Wolf loses, I and Aren alone are not your opponents. Kafka took a step forward, she put away her umbrella, and looked up at the burning fireman in the air. Bo Chang's current form is quite powerful, especially since the opponent almost crushed Silver Wolf. Although the hacker girl is not good at close combat and was a little careless, but Silver Wolf was defeated. This can already show Bochang's strength. I didn't expect that you have become so powerful in just 9 days. Kafka was chatting like a family. The trapped blade had also broken free from his restraints, just when he was breathing heavily and wanted to attack. Kafka said, "Listen to me, a blade, stop." After hearing this, the beast-like man, the whole person became quiet. Bochang frowned slightly. Kafka, don't try to get close to me. Why did you Starcore hunters come to me with such fanfare? If he said it was to kill me, that's impossible. If the Starcore hunters were going to kill him, Kafka wouldn't stand by and watch. If she also took action, Bochang really wasn't sure if he could defeat Silver Wolf quickly and capture him. This can be roughly seen from the system options. Only Bochang chose to avoid seeing him. The Starcore hunters would keep chasing him. It was precisely because he didn't want to be disturbed by these guys that Bochang chose to stay and fight. Chapter 215 Star God Behind. While Bochang was talking, he tied Silver Wolf up with his invisible hands. He directly made a tortoise shell / bind. Feeling those strange things wrapped around his body, Silver Wolf twisted uncomfortably. Strange, that punch just now, and the tortoise shell / binding now, don't they count as educating Silver Wolf? The reason why Bochang knocked down Silver Wolf first was very simple. That was to obtain random skills. And now, the system's voice still didn't sound. This shows that Bochang hasn't done enough. Kafka's pupilless eyes reflected his burning body, and said, "Starcore Hunter came to you just to make a deal." Trade. What deal? Bochang felt that the other party was definitely not just here to make a deal. It is estimated that the first purpose is to capture him directly, and then negotiate if he can't capture him. It's very simple, we hope you don't interfere with Xing's growth. After all, she also has the blood of Starcore Hunter in her body, and we have the obligation to supervise her. Kafka spoke slowly. Bochang was a little confused. Xing has the blood of the Starcore Hunter flowing in her body? What does that mean? Isn't she a Starcore spirit? Originally, when she was in Baloberg, Xing should have started the journey of preservation and protection, but you messed up the original plan, and the final battlefield became your personal show, resulting in Xing having no chance to grow at all. Kafka looked at Bochang quietly. Xing is very important. If she can't grow up, the consequences will be serious. Although I don't know which star god you belong to, but, Bochang, you can't mess around anymore. Kafka changed her lazy tone and became serious. Silence for a moment. Bochang said, "Didn't you say, this is a deal? But I can't feel your sincerity, Kafka." Sincerity? What sincerity do you want? Or whatever, the Starcore Hunter can give you. I have the option of love in the starry sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 177. Kafka spread her hands. To be honest about the growth of the star, Bochang had also thought about it. At first, he thought that the gray-haired girl, as a Starcore spirit, needed to devour the Starcore to become stronger. Unexpectedly, it was not like that. The Starcore of Yalilo 6 was directly sealed by the Star Dome train. There was no star at all. At that time, Bochang already knew that he had interfered with the protagonist's growth. Now the Starcore of Luofuxianzhou has also been dealt with by Teibizi. Bochang is more certain of this idea. How to make the star stronger? This is a question worth thinking about. Perhaps Bochang can rely on the Starcore Hunter, so he replied, "Kafka, are you so sure that I will trade with you?" Of course, Elio said that as long as you don't make things worse, it means that we still have a chance to ease the situation. Kafka's face reappeared with a smile. Blade just closed his eyes and hugged the ancient sword in his arms. Hearing such an answer, Bochang was slightly surprised. As the leader of the Star Core Hunters, Elio has the ability to predict the future, which is well known to everyone. But after actually meeting him, a strange feeling will still arise in people's hearts. What if I don't agree to trade with you? Bo Chang narrowed his eyes slightly. He didn't have a good impression of the Star Core Hunters. Whether it was the crazy stop of himself and seen in the early stage, or on the Luofu Immortal boat, the two attacks on himself made it difficult for Bo Chang to have a good impression of the Star Core Hunters. You will agree. Bo Chang, the behavior of the Star Core Hunters is far from as simple as you see. I guess you have met the joyful Star God when you were Baloberg, and he also doesn't want you to interfere with our script. Kafka's eyes were calm. If you insist on your own way, there will be someone who will confront you without the Star Core Hunters joining the game. Can you and the Star God behind you really bear such a price? Bo Chang's strength is rapidly improving. It seems that the Star Core Hunters think that a certain Star God has intervened. This is also a good thing. But, Aha is helping the Star Core Hunter? Something is wrong. Is Kafka lying to me? Bo Chang couldn't believe it, but thought about the Joy Star God who had inexplicably troubled him. What the other party said. It is indeed somewhat credible. Kafka continued, even as strong as the Star God, if it arouses public anger, it will not be spared. For example, the breeding Star God Taza Euros was beaten to death by a group of people, let alone you. Choosing to trade with us will not do you any harm. If possible, I would even like to invite you to join the Star Core Hunter team, but unfortunately, it is better for us to keep a certain distance now. After all, you are too dangerous. If I am not mistaken, you must still remember us, right? Kafka said a lot. Seeing this, Bo Chang nodded and said, yes, I still remember you. After that, in this black prison-like alien space, it fell into a strange silence. The Star Core Hunter is waiting for Bo Chang's answer. After weighing the pros and cons, he decided to agree to the other party's request. Okay, I cannot interfere with the growth of the star, and even follow your script, but, you have to agree to my 3 requests. If the Star Core Hunter cannot do it, the deal is off the table. Please say. Kafka's tone was gentle, and the way she looked at the child made Bo Chang feel powerful but nowhere to use it. Take a deep breath. Bo Chang made his tone more serious. First, I want to teach the little girl who attacked me this time, that is, Silver Wolf. Don't go too far, I gave you a piece of clothing after all. The hacker girl, who had lost her edge, had no expression on her face. Although it is interesting to fight with a powerful enemy. But the interesting thing is the process and victory, not the defeat. Being captured is not a good feeling. Silver Wolf now just feels terrible. You are not qualified to negotiate. Bo Chang pouted at Silver Wolf, and then covered her cherry mouth with an invisible hand. The hacker girl has become a trophy of victory. To prevent the other party from escaping, Bo Chang held Silver Wolf very tightly, and even on her fair skin, he could see many sunken finger marks. Kafka agreed, okay. Woo, woo. Silver Wolf, who was powerless, was dumbfounded. How could he agree directly? Even if Kafka hesitated a little, Silver Wolf would feel more comfortable. What is this situation without any hesitation? Second, I need you 3 to apologize to me. This is the second time you have attacked me, I don't care about those who are hiding. You Star Core Hunters who appear in front of me, don't even think about running away. It doesn't matter, we can agree, Kafka said, and immediately bowed. I'm sorry, Bo Chang. Blade. It's more painful to let the former Yun's Hang Wuxiao say sorry to Bo Chang, this little guy, than to kill him. The love option is turned on. Option 1, an insincere apology is not acceptable. Please remind Kafka, it is common sense to show your chest when apologizing. Completion reward, Physical fitness increased by 100%. Chapter 216 Silver Wolf, Don't Get Close to Me. Option 2, deliberately make things difficult for Kafka, scolding, the voice is weak, I can't hear it. I can't hear it at all. Do it again. Completion reward, mental strength increased by 100%. Option 3, urge Blade and Silver Wolf, it's your turn, hurry up, I'm in a hurry. Completion reward, get the skill, I'm in a hurry, pause the time within a radius of 30 meters with myself as the center, for 3 seconds. Seeing the appearance of these 3 options, Bo Chang fell into a decision again. To be honest, the rewards this time are all very good. Physical fitness doubled, mental strength doubled, and time stop. Bo Chang looked at options 1 and 2 and finally rejected them all. His relationship with Kafka is now very delicate. They are not friends. They are not enemies either. Whether it was to remind her of the perverted behavior of exposing her breasts, or to deliberately make things difficult for her, Bo Chang didn't want to do any of them. It was better not to fall out with the Star Core Hunter. How to make Scene grow up next? It still depends on them. Bo Chang himself could become crazy strong with the system, but to make others stronger, that would be a blind man. As the protagonist, Scene couldn't be delayed like this all the time, she had to stand up. What's more, Kafka was quite sincere when she apologized. Bo Chang didn't plan to hold on to it. Is the only option the third one? This looks like a welfare option, no. Compared to doubling the mental power and physical fitness, the 3-second time stop seems a bit worse. After all, there is a range limit of 30 meters. But, I don't have any other choice now. Bo Chang made a decision, and his eyes swept over Blade and Silver Wolf, it's your turn, hurry up, I'm in a hurry. The hacker girl with her mouth covered just rolled her eyes. Silver Wolf didn't have the ability to speak even if he wanted to. With his arms crossed, Blade looked away. Even though they were at a distance, Bo Chang could sense his complicated inner feelings. This guy had his thoughts written all over his face. It was so easy to understand. Facing this situation, Kafka raised her head, put one hand on her waist and looked at him, saying, a blade. He had been hit by Dragon Blast twice before. Blade was seriously injured, so his clothes were a little messy, but he was still okay, his clothes were just a little damaged. Bo Chang's bathrobe was very ordinary. After the action, his lower body was almost burned, with only a little rag covering his crotch, like a mini skirt, and inexplicable holes of different sizes appeared on his upper body. If it weren't for the outer coat made of burning flames all over his body, Bo Chang would have probably been exposed. At Kafka's reminder, Blade held his forehead with one hand, and he said unwillingly, I'm sorry. The smiling little black dragon spoke very quickly, and he couldn't laugh now. The wanted criminal who traveled across the galaxy, being forced to apologize to a little kid in a humble manner. Ren certainly couldn't laugh. This perfunctory attitude made Kafka a little dissatisfied. Ren, be sincere when apologizing, add your name, don't say it so quickly, and speak louder. Ba Kane, I'm sorry. Ren had no choice but to add another sentence, and this time he did say it much better. Ba Kane thought to himself, this guy actually listens to Kafka so much. I thought he was a person who would not obey anyone. I have the option of love in the starry sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 178. This is a misunderstanding. Bo Chang did not know Blade before, he guessed his personality based on the 2 encounters with him. When he first appeared, Blade is quite arrogant, and the devilish laughter he occasionally makes during the battle is also impressive. This also led Bo Chang to have a wrong impression of him. His eyes moved away from Blade. Bo Chang looked at Silver Wolf, who was caught by him, and her eyes were also staring at him. Realized something. Bo Chang took off the goggles on Silver Wolf's head with his invisible hands. He also released the black and purple big hand covering the other party. Silver Wolf's apology was very natural. Just like Kafka, but the tone was much worse. Rewards are being distributed. Congratulations on your skills, I'm in a hurry. Bo Chang didn't care. Anyway, he had to educate Silver Wolf well next, so he was not in a hurry at this moment. He looked at the Star Core Hunter below and made his third request. The third and most important point is, don't interfere with me and Xing, and don't bother me again, otherwise, even if Xing Shen is standing behind you, I will never back down. Kafka's face changed slightly. In her eyes, Xing was like her own child. Bo Chang suddenly jumped out and wanted to take him away. Kafka felt like her daughter was being abducted by a mentally ill boy. If Bo Chang was more loyal, it would be fine. But he was a passionate seed. He provoked San Yuqi and 11 Lu Wa successively. Kafka didn't know how to answer for a while. About Bo Chang's fate. Even Elio couldn't figure it out, he could only give a vague script. Compared with previous tasks, every time it was related to Bo Chang, the variables would increase exponentially. Silver Wolf seemed a little unconvinced, and said, "Your request is a bit strange. Xing was also a member of the Star Core Hunter before joining the Star Dome train. How could we watch you take her?" "When did I say I was going to take Xing?" Bo Chang retorted, and then stretched out his hand, "Just to make it clear, Xing and I are in a normal relationship now." Bo Chang did not lie. This matter had been determined before they arrived at the Luofu ferry boat. Bo Chang said that the two should be lovers. Xing did not refute, but asked, "What should lovers do?" It's a pity that Bo Chang didn't have time to teach. March 7th showed up in time to make trouble. Hearing the word relationship, Kafka's heart trembled slightly. This feeling is hard to describe in words. If I had known, I should have taken Bo Chang away at the beginning. It was the biggest mistake to let him stay in the Black Tower space station. Kafka and Silver Wolf and others came to do this task, not to clean up their past mistakes. Bo Chang continued, "Even if what Kafka said just now is true, Xing has the blood of the Star Core Hunter in her body, but she has now joined the Star Dome train and is no longer a member of the Star Core Hunter. You have no right to interfere with Xing's personal choice, right?" Bo Chang's voice had just fallen. Kafka said, "You don't have to say it, I understand. We Star Core Hunters don't want to get involved in private matters between men and women, but, Xing's future growth direction must be operated by us. Silver Wolf will be responsible for contacting you in the future. She will tell you what to intervene in and what not to intervene in. I hope you can also abide by the terms of the deal." Kafka turned around, "Aren and I will leave first, Bo Chang, you and Silver Wolf will handle the next thing." A colorful barrier appeared not far from Kafka, and she left with Ren. Disappeared in this space. Bo Chang dispersed the flames on his body. Then he brought Silver Wolf down with his invisible hand. "There are only two of us now." Bo Chang turned around and showed Yin Lang a harmless smile. The hacker girl who was tied up was shocked and said in a broken voice, "Don't come near me." Chapter 217 Playing Games. Don't come near? How can I teach you if I don't come near? How can I get skills if I don't teach you? Are you going to give me skills? Bo Chang took a few steps forward and pressed Yin Lang's shoulders. After Kafka and Blade left, only Yin Lang and Bo Chang were left in this dark space. The bound hacker girl looked up at the black-haired boy who was close at hand. "What do you want to do?" "What do I want to do?" Yin Lang's question stumped Bo Chang. Love Option asked him to teach the other party, but did not give a specific method. The previous boxing and superb binding techniques did not work. Bo Chang didn't know what to do next. System. Love Option had no idea of answering. Bo Chang could only play freely. Thinking of the Silver Wolf stunning club that had been hanging over his head in Baloberg, Bo Chang was filled with emotion. This genius hacker girl finally fell into his hands. Although the Silver Wolf had the face of Brnya in the third level. However, Bo Chang would not show mercy. Didn't you ask me to catch you just now? Now that I have caught you, let me think, how should I teach you a lesson, this ignorant little girl? I just missed it for a moment. I didn't expect you to rush so fast. Give me another chance, and you promise you won't be able to catch me. Silver Wolf is quite confident. Bo Chang also knew that he just caught the opponent off guard. Dragon Talisman's third power rating has a strong sprinting ability. The bathrobe on Bo Chang's body became what it is now, basically thanks to it. If it weren't for the magic power of the Dragon Talisman on his body and the power to destroy his life, I'm afraid the outfit has completely disappeared. Bo Chang raised the corner of his mouth and said, I will not give you another chance, Silver Wolf, you are already a trophy, I will not let you go until I am satisfied. You, dirty and shameless pervert. The captured Silver Wolf could no longer be naughty, and her voice sounded like she was gritting her teeth. Bo Chang shook his head slightly. I know, Silver Wolf, you still have the strength to resist or even escape, right, but, you are forced to give in due to the mission of the Star Core Hunter. This little light left this place lightly from Kafka and the blade. Bo Chang can see the clues. The other party seemed to be telling him this way too. The Star Core Hunters didn't go all out. Throwing Silver Wolf here was also to calm Bo Chang's anger, or to show their sincerity. Since you know, then let me go quickly. Silver Wolf's voice was not very friendly. Bo Chang smiled slightly. He finally caught a Star Core Hunter, how could he let him go so easily? Silver Wolf knew that this matter could not end so easily. In the script given by Elio, Bo Chang agreed to make a deal with the Star Core Hunters, and there would be 3 possible prices. First, Kafka is innocent. Second, Silver Wolf has no misfortune. Third, die once. The cost may appear as one, or may be randomly combined. Even appear at the same time. Silver Wolf had already made preparations before coming, and she still wanted to see Kafka's jokes. Unexpectedly, the joke turned out to be me in the end. Until after being captured. Silver Wolf felt. Perhaps Kafka concealed something, so the price became his own misery. Bo Chang, what exactly do you want to do? Could it be? Even though Elio reassured him, Bo Chang would not go too far, and there were ways to avoid a tragic ending. But, when things came to a close, Silver Wolf still couldn't calm down. She thought about countless ways to escape in her heart. Bo Chang touched his chin. He looked at the hacker girl who was a little shorter than him and said, by the way, Silver Wolf, don't you like playing games very much? Then let's play a game. Whoever loses will be punished. Bo Chang stretched out a finger. Just like before with Kafka. Facing Silver Wolf, Bo Chang would not make things too tense. You must convince the other party. Hearing this, Silver Wolf relaxed his nervousness and said, I told you earlier, if we play games, I won't lose to anyone. What do you want to play? Playing rock, paper, scissors, the winner is decided in 1 round, and whoever loses takes off 1 piece of clothing. Bo Chang suggested that playing this game was also a test. He wanted to see how well the Star Core Hunters knew him. Silver Wolf felt something was wrong, so it didn't matter if she took off her clothes. Anyway, she had more than 1 piece of clothing on her body and could take it off several times. The key lies in another thing. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I have the option of Love in the Starry Sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 179. This punishment of yours, you deserve it no matter what. Who wants to take off your clothes? The hacker girl was not interested in Bo Chang's body. I don't want to stain my eyes either. After all, Bo Chang took off his clothes once and was naked. If I win, you have to let me go. Silver Wolf put forward his own conditions. Bo Chang thought to himself, doesn't she know that I have the skill of guessing and blessing? Or is it intentional? After this trial, Bo Chang found that the Star Core hunters might not know him as well as he thought. Okay, it's a deal, don't deny it. Let go of the two invisible hands. Bo Chang freed one of Silver Lang's hands. Strange, why did he agree so readily? Is it a lie? While Bo Chang was testing him, the hacker girl was also testing him. Silver Wolf itself came with a mission. Since she stayed here now, she had to collect more information. It was best to find out who the Star God was hiding behind the other party. This is a very difficult task. Bo Chang raised his hand and said, I say rock, scissors, paper. Once it comes to paper, we will punch together. If anyone is slow, he will be judged as a loser. Silver Wolf, are you ready? Wait a minute, I want to change the game. Silver Wolf, whose thoughts were interrupted, raised his right hand. There is little room for maneuver in a game like rock, paper, scissors. It's normal for hacker girls to want to change. You have no right to choose. Bo Chang shook his head, don't forget that you are my trophy now. I was merciless with that punch just now. Otherwise, do you think you can still stand here and talk to me? Although Silver Wolf wants to say that he still has some energy left. But in the situation just now, she really couldn't resist. The most critical problem is that the two are too close. If Silver Wolf had stayed further away, or if someone had helped block Bo Chang's footsteps, she would not have been defeated so quickly. It even has the ability to trap it in an infinitely folded space. As long as Silver Wolf is given enough time, she can do this. Who would have thought that Bo Chang would suddenly erupt into a small universe? Elio never mentioned it. Kafka just stood aside and watched, not helping. Of course it was Silver Wolf who was injured in the end. Whenever Kafka used his words, the hacker girl felt that she had a chance to kill Bo Chang and change her destiny to a completely different path. What about changing the rules? No way. Bo Chang didn't want the other party to do any tricks. Silver Wolf sighed and said, okay, let's see between the two of us, who has better luck. Bo Chang asked again. You know the rules of rock, paper, scissors. Don't worry. Silver Wolf replied casually. Chapter 218 The advantage is mine. After getting the consent of the hacker girl, Bo Chang narrowed his eyes slightly and thought to himself, Yin Lang, just take off your clothes obediently. Facing that confident gaze, the hacker girl felt something strange in her heart. Don't panic, it's just rock, paper, scissors. He can't cheat in this game of luck, and I only need to win once. To put it simply, the advantage is mine. Silver Wolf comforted himself in his heart. Bo Chang started counting. Rock, scissors, paper. Both of them punched together. Bo Chang is the scissors and Yin Lang is the cloth. Apparently, Silver Wolf lost. Originally, she wanted to make a stone, but in the end it turned into cloth by some strange combination. In this way, he lost to Bo Chang. Silver Wolf couldn't explain what he was thinking. Before punching anyway. I have a lot of emotions, and then. Okay, take it off. If you find it inconvenient, I can help. I don't need your help. Silver Wolf's face was slightly red, she didn't care that she lost once. This is guessing after all. It is normal to have losses and wins. Now, if she is willing to admit defeat, the hacker girl can only excuse herself, but there is one thing to do before that. You can let me go now. I won't run away anyway. Being bound by invisible hands. Silver Wolf couldn't take off his clothes. Good. Bo Chang nodded in agreement, and then withdrew the invisible hand wrapped around Silver Wolf's soft body. The hacker girl rolled her eyes again. I have to say, these big black and purple hands have eaten up enough of the tofu on Silver Wolf. After regaining freedom, Silver Wolf put her hands on the zipper of her coat, unable to do so. She was thinking about what she should take off. As for the right-hand weapon, when Bo Chang picked her up just now, Yinlang had already put away the damaged weapon in her right hand. Her weapon could appear and disappear out of thin air. Hurry up, we have to play the next game, Bo Chang urged. Silver Wolf gritted his teeth, pulled down the open short coat, and took it off his smooth shoulders. And threw it on the ground. Silver Wolf, wearing a white short-cut t-shirt and a black bra, raised his head and held his chest high. Come on, I will definitely win the next game. Then come on. Bo Chang looked at the unyielding hacker girl and raised his hand. Rock, scissors, paper. Another round is over. Silver Wolf looked at his rock and Bo Chang's paper, somewhat unbelievable. I lost again? How could this happen? Doesn't that mean I have to take it off again? The hacker girl narrowed her eyes slightly. Wait, does Bo Chang have some kind of mind-reading ability and can guess what I will do? It's possible, he is so mean. But, as long as I don't even know what I'm going to do, this trick is useless. Bo Chang ignored the other party's psychological activities and said, sorry, I won again, take it off quickly. Gloves are also considered part of the clothes, I'll take them off this time. Silver Wolf threw two black fingerless gloves on the ground. Bo Chang didn't care. The next round was the third round, the fourth round. Without exception, all of them were lost by Silver Wolf. Since the coat had been taken off before. So the next thing to take off was the shoes and fishnet stockings. Damn it, why is this happening? If I take it off again, things will get really bad. No. I still have two chances to try and make mistakes, that is my headdress and the collar on my neck. 4 consecutive losses. Silver Wolf couldn't tell whether it was just his bad luck. Or did Bo Chang have some special ability? No matter what the situation is, anyway, I will only play the last 2 rounds. Are you ready, Silver Wolf? Bo Chang put one hand on his waist. Watching the hacker girl strip herself off bit by bit. It was also a rare enjoyment. The 5th and 6th rounds ended quickly. Silver Wolf lost miserably. The headdress and the collar on his neck were taken off. Bo Chang smiled and said, Silver Wolf, you don't have any other accessories now, are you going to take off this short t-shirt next? Or your hot pants? I don't want to play anymore. Silver Wolf crossed his arms. 6 games, 6 games lost, you must have done something, right? I'm not crazy to play with you at this time. I'm just lucky. Bo Chang would never admit that he did anything. And there's nothing wrong with thinking that a skill like rock paper scissors protection is luck. Don't you want to admit it? Silver Wolf didn't want to believe it. Your method is really clever, and I didn't even notice that you cheated. Bo Chang, how did you do it? It won't do you any good to dwell on this, Silver Wolf, I only know that you lost, and you didn't plan to continue playing halfway through. If this goes on, I won't be able to satisfy you. Bo Chang shook his head gently. I have the option of love in the starry sky. Author, Lao Cha Shugu. Chapter 180. Today. Bo Chang somewhat understood Aha's bad taste in forcing himself to play games. Because it's really cool. Accidentally, Bo Chang's life became something he hated. We can play other games, such as war chess, idiom solitaire, or online competitive games. Silver Wolf came up with his own idea. Ba Kame said, it's okay if you don't want to play this. Come over and give me a massage for half an hour, and I'll agree to change the game. Give you a massage? No pressing. Silver Wolf, who was standing on the ground with bare feet, turned his head. After taking off the hair accessories, the hacker girl's hair was a little messy, and the original single spiral ponytail was also separated. Bo Chang touched his chin. Looking at you like this, are you planning to disobey orders? That's enough for you. Yin Lang put her hands on her hips and stared at Bo Chang angrily. You have already made me look like this. You took advantage just now, and what do you want? You can join the Star Corps Hunters at a young age, and the reward amount is as high as 5.1 billion credits. The hacker girl is naturally a little arrogant. Don't forget that you are my trophy. I can educate you in any way I want, Silver Wolf. If you don't want to cooperate with me, I will really take heavy action. Bo Chang said, extending his invisible hand again. Silver Wolf didn't seem to notice. This made Bo Chang a little surprised, and suddenly he looked down as if he remembered something. He saw the other party's goggles being taken off by him. Maybe Silver Wolf relied on that thing to see the invisible hand. I guess it's also a treasure. The next second, Bo Chang grabbed Silver Wolf and lifted it into the air. The hacker girl was a little panicked at first, but she quickly calmed down. She had no intention of resisting, but said, let's finish it early. I have to go back to catch up on my sleep. Silver Wolf closed his eyes and showed a resigned look. Okay, this is your attitude, right? Then don't blame me for being rude. Bo Chang grabbed Silver Wolf's bare feet. Kneed and twisted hard. Chapter 219. Who is not a baby yet? The short coat, black on the outside and blue on the inside, was thrown carelessly on the ground. There are also goggles, boots, and short fishnet stockings of different lengths, etc. Notice that I am being held by invisible hands. Silver Wolf knew it was sent, so he simply closed his eyes and didn't give any reaction to prevent the other party from getting more and more excited. I saw that the system did not respond for a long time. Bo Chang knew that what he had done was not enough. Plus Silver Wolf is so uncooperative. Just go one step further. Bo Chang grasped the hacker girl's soft and white bare feet with both hands. Rubbing between the toes, pressing the beautifully curved arches. Silver Wolf felt the hot hands playing with his feet, and felt a little humiliated, but it was still within the tolerance range. It's a little itchy, it's also very strange. This feeling is different from those big black and purple hands. Yin Lang's pretty face slowly became more charming under Bo Chang's movements. Invisible hands have no temperature. Bo Chang's hands are warm, so the feeling of holding them on his body will of course be different. Silver Wolf could only close her eyes and try to control her emotions, but she didn't expect that closing her eyes would make the touch infinitely magnified, and even her breathing would become heavier involuntarily. It gave the surroundings a tantalizing sweet scent. Pity. Silver Wolf, who was inside, didn't notice it and still closed his eyes tightly. Bo Chang looked at the hacker girl's awkward look. A bad idea suddenly came to my mind. Insert your 5 fingers into the gap between the other person's toes, and hold her feet with your own hands. Ba Kame said, look, Silver Wolf, we are crossing our fingers. Are you a child? Silver Wolf finally couldn't help but open her eyes, her silver gray pupils almost spitting fire. If eyes could kill, Bo Chang would have been cut to pieces by 1,000 cuts. At the same time, Silver Wolf also felt a little sad inside. After struggling in vain for a long time, I finally ended up like this. Who's not a baby yet? Bo Chang replied. Unable to bear it any longer, Silver Wolf raised his other foot and kicked him in the face. Bo Chang took advantage of the situation and grabbed the other snow-white jade foot. Since you are so impatient, I won't be polite. Seeing the hacker girl dare to resist, Bo Chang decided to increase his efforts. Anyway, he had a good reputation, so he didn't have to worry about anything, just do it and it would be done. Yin Lang, I wonder if you have ever heard of, there is a kind of punishment called laughter punishment. Laughing punishment. Silver Wolf was stunned, countless thoughts flashed through his mind. Bo Chang didn't wait for the other party to answer, and said, "It doesn't matter if you don't know, because you will know it right away." Having said that, Bo Chang smiled evilly. Silver Wolf felt a very bad feeling in his heart. Soon, in this dead black alien space, crisp laughter rang out. Silver Wolf, we have you, ha ha ha, give it to me, ha ha ha, remember. The hacker girl who was punished by Bo Chang laughed and cried. A threat from the very beginning. Silver Wolf soon began to beg for mercy. Woo woo, stop, ha ha ha, don't. Unfortunately, Bo Chang had no intention of letting Silver Wolf go. He moved his tongue while doing it, saying, "Confess your sins." After a long time, Silver Wolf, with disheveled hair, had a flushed face and was sweating. After being taught by Bo Chang for a long time, the hacker girl was already a little slurred, and she could only laugh or cry. The system prompt sound also sounded at this moment. Rewards are being distributed. Congratulations on obtaining the skill, naked clothes. When you are not wearing clothes, the damage you cause to the enemy will definitely be a critical hit. Seeing the new skill appear, Bo Chang was very excited. This is another damage increasing skill. Although the triggering conditions are a bit shameful. But I have to say, this is a very powerful skill, and it is not in vain that he has just gone to great lengths to teach Silver Wolf. And Bo Chang has the skill of taking off clothes in 1 second. As long as he can abandon his shame, he can double the damage to any enemy without distinction. Plus the messenger of justice and the killer of the queen. If Huanlong dares to jump in front of her again, Bo Chang will definitely give her a big surprise. I am invincible. But, is Silver Wolf okay? Bo Chang looked at the hacker girl who was slightly punished by him. The motionless Silver Wolf seemed to have been played to pieces. Now it can be said that it is sweating profusely. The white and tender soles of the feet with blue veins can also be seen with a touch of wetness. Put it on the ground. Bo Chang released the invisible hand and said, "I am satisfied, Silver Wolf, how should I leave here next?" Although there is a teleportation ring that can be used. But Bo Chang also wants to save money now. Silver Wolf, lying on the ground with a big word, did not think of speaking, and her eyes looked at the sky with lifeless eyes. I don't know what she is thinking. Looking at the beautiful girl, she is ready to be slaughtered. Bo Chang half knelt down, patted her face gently, and said, "Wake up, Silver Wolf, it's over." At this time, the absent-minded Silver Wolf slowly recovered, and his beautiful big eyes gently turned, and saw Bo Chang next to him. The hacker girl closed her eyes with a face full of humiliation. Tears of regret left the corners of her eyes. I'll remember this grudge, Bo Chang, don't sleep too deeply in the future. It's obvious. Silver Wolf is talking harshly, or it can be said that he is stubborn. Bo Chang is not worried about what the other party will do. If we talk about the previous stop, Bo Chang hit Silver Wolf unexpectedly. So after acquiring the new skill of naked clothes,